Hi, I'm Sarah Ingle. Welcome to the Queendom, and today is part 2 of me reacting to your assumptions about me. We had so many assumptions come in that we actually had to split this up into 2 videos so we could get as many of your assumptions in as possible.
This is me, I'm so royal.
Alright, so let's just jump right into part 2. Whimsical fangirl says that everyone thinks you're younger than you really are. Happens to me too, lol. That is definitely correct. I mean, I've had people, even relatively recently, still bring me a kid's meal if I'm with my parents. Other Worlds Cosplay says you prefer summer to winter. Agreed. I don't like snow. I don't like driving in the snow, which makes being in California rather than Colorado very convenient. Because the winter here basically does not exist, I have decided. Maggie says, you're even more beautiful on the inside, and that's saying something. Maggie, everybody should go follow Maggie because she's like the most adorable kind human being. Derpy is weird. You use hair extensions and say it is real. That is false. I do have the ones that drag on the ground, the 8-foot ones. Those aren't real, but all this, you can see. There's no extensions. I mean, it just, you can see because it comes from my head and goes all the way down. I don't even know enough about extensions to know how to prove that, but I would think that I've just proved it. Myth busted! Princess Keely says, your favorite color is purple. That would be a good assumption because I've worn a lot of purple and a lot of purple in my Instagram feed lately. I think my favorite color right now is like a turquoise, like a Tiffany blue, like Queendom blue, because, well, that's why I made it Queendom blue, because I really like it. I also like cerulean, the color of Misty's city where she's from.
And I'm the famous water Pokemon trainer from Cerulean City. Misty is the name.
Early Gray T7, that you're always happy no matter what. I'm not always happy. I would say I am way happier percentage-wise than most people, and I'm very lucky that I am happy probably most of the time, yeah. But I'm definitely not always happy. I feel like you wouldn't be able to appreciate being happy if you were only happy your whole life, because then that would just be your norm. You gotta have the ups and downs in order to be happy. Kayla Khan says, you're literally perfect. I'm glad you think so, but I can assure you, I am not. In fact, I have a bump on my head from running into a C-stand yesterday, which is basically a light stand. I could have just as easily ran into a wall. I've done it before. Once I walked right into a wall and got a bruise on the end of my nose, which I didn't know was possible. But it is. Leanne Zoomwalt says, you grew up on all things Disney. To some extent. I don't think as a child I loved it as much as people think. I loved a lot of other things more. I loved The Wizard of Oz. Loved The Wizard of Oz. I actually really did like Mary Poppins, which is Disney. I loved Star Wars, which is now Disney, but at the time it wasn't. And I liked Pokemon a lot too. Fatoski, you are incredibly hyper and require very little sugar. I am incredibly hyper a lot of the time. I have a lot of energy. And I don't require sugar to be hyper. That is an accurate assumption. Alejandra Cecible, you love chips. I think it depends on the kind of chips, but I do love the Cooler Ranch Doritos, which is funny because I don't usually like ranch things, but I do like the blue ones, the blue Doritos. Oh my goodness! Artsy Becky one says, you're an alien from outer space. Okay, so story time. The way I said that sounds like the meme review. No, just story time. Okay, so when I was a child, growing up, I thought that I was an alien, and my parents just paid everyone around me to pretend like I wasn't an alien. So you know what, Becky? You might be right. You might be right. Sophie1412 says, you were born thinking you were a Disney princess, and one day you are gonna prove you actually are. I don't think I thought that I was a Disney princess so much as like born thinking that. Though I did like Pocahontas. I never thought that I was Pocahontas, but in 3rd grade I did think that I was Luke Skywalker. There's a lot of problematic pieces to that. I am not Luke Skywalker, and so I'm not gonna be able to prove you wrong. Genevieve Theresi Remy, you're a type A person, perfectionist to your core. I can definitely be a perfectionist. Not always towards other people so much, but at myself, definitely. And it will bother me if things are not right. And I tend to be also very extra and a perfectionist, so I tend to bite off things more than I can chew. Like my insane live action Tangle. Vale Salcido. I assume you spend a lot of money on Disney costumes. I've spent a lot of money on princess costumes for Princess Ever After, but that was for a business. And more recently, I have spent money on like Disney costumes for using for videos and things. So there was always a purpose behind it. I didn't just I think this is like a misconception out there, that I just spent a bunch of money to buy princess dresses to like frolic around in my living room and take selfies in. Which I'm not gonna spend a bunch of money to do that. That's not the case at all. There was always like a very like purposeful, thought out reason anytime I would buy, especially an expensive dress. Sterling Silver says you actually prefer short hair. That would be a false assumption. I couldn't do it. I love my long hair. I love everything about it, and I would be very sad if I ever had to cut it. Amber M13, it took you a while to grow your hair. Yes, but I've always had long hair. Like, even when I was an infant, like newborn, I was born with like this much hair and all stood straight up in the air. So that's cute. I've just always had a lot of like long hair, and I never cut it. I think the shortest I ever had, I did cut it a decent amount in 8th grade. I think I had it to like here-ish. And that was like the shortest it ever was. And I didn't like it either. I wanted it longer as soon as I did it. Pampered Princess 14, you are Rapunzel and the sweetest person ever. I am definitely a Rapunzel type for very hairy reasons. I don't think I'm the sweetest person ever, but I tried to be sweet. I tried to be kind and respectful. And sometimes I think that comes off as sweet. I'm not a very sour person. Annalie Happy, you go to Disneyland every single day. I don't. I could, but then I would never get anything done, ever. Princess Den Sueño, I don't know. Den Sueño. When you sit down, you can't help but shake your legs. I don't think so. I'm sitting relatively still now. Sometimes I get wiggly, but I think I'm sitting pretty still right now. Expressions drawings. You're using your Rapunzel voice more than your normal voice. I don't know if I have a Rapunzel voice. Do I have a Rapunzel voice? I think I pretty much just talk in my voice when I'm Rapunzel. That's what I do for a lot of the princesses, unless it's someone with a very, very character voice, like with an accent, obviously Merida or Snow White. I pretty much just use my voice and just say it like with the same like level of enthusiasm and motivation that they would have. Mad cheese. You would love to live in a Disney film. I think it would depend on what film. I really like like more modern technology. So I'm glad that I live in the time that I do. Maybe if there's a futuristic, they should have a futuristic, well, like Princess Leia. Samantha Patchias. You are more of a morning person than a night person. I think it depends. I can switch back and forth. Lately, I'm probably more of a night person than a morning person, but I'm weird and can switch back and forth. Adam Gubman says you're 7 feet tall. Correct, Adam. I am 7 feet tall. K Prasad 610. I assume you have played a Kingdom Hearts game, right? LOL. I actually don't have a game console. So I watched some of the cutscenes because it looks awesome and I knew I wanted to research it before we did the music video because that seemed important. And I downloaded the app because there's like a mobile app of it because it looked fun, but I don't have any game console, so I actually haven't played a Kingdom Hearts game, like the traditional full game. I don't think I pronounced that right, but I tried. High school cheerleader. I'm guessing that you're assuming that I was a high school cheerleader. That would be false. I definitely was not a high school cheerleader. I was not particularly coordinated, and that requires a lot of coordination. Daniela AI, your hair glows when you sing. Maybe. Bellinas is back. You go on diets. Not really. I've never been like a diety type person. I know that certain things, my brain functions better when I don't eat too much sugar, and so there's been times, for a long while I didn't eat any sugar, and it helped a lot. And it helped with my skin a lot, but it wasn't like, it definitely wasn't like for body purposes. In fact, I try, if anything, to eat more protein. Dallas 0205, I assume that you have never had your hair short before. That is a correct assumption. Tifsky, you probably never swear, haha. I don't usually. The interesting thing with swearing is it has a lot more of an impact. If you don't ever swear and you do it, then people know you mean business. I also spend a lot of time with Disney people at Disneyland or around kids, and that just wouldn't be appropriate. And I don't have a lot of reason to. I'm pretty happy. Ellie, not Eli. First of all, that's a funny username. You're the sweetest person. You act just like a princess off costume. Maybe more like a modern princess. I feel like I'm like Anna or Rapunzel. I act more like that than a Cinderella. I'm not always the most graceful human being. Nick Holzimmer, you're a perfectionist when it comes to how you portray Rapunzel. I'm generally just a perfectionist, period. Though I will say, at Tracy's 80s music video that we shot, it didn't look very perfect. First of all, I couldn't skate for the life of me, and my extensions turned into a rat's nest before I even made it out the door because I got stuck to the sequin. So that wasn't very perfect, but it was still Rapunzel, and I lived with it. Raphael, when you're not cosplaying, you are a messy girl, question mark, haha. I feel like I used to be more disorganized, and now I like stress out if things aren't organized. It like actually stresses me out, and so like everything's labeled and everything has a place, and it's not messy at all anymore. Niche Amy Rose, you have tons of cash for all these wigs and actresses. So Princess Ever After is a business, so the actresses that we hire, they're paid when they're booked. So other people pay us and then we pay them like a cut of that. So I don't think that's the same as me just like making it rain on the princesses. It's a little different. Not so cleverly. At first I thought you were a kind of fake person, like ingenuine. I don't think that now though. I'm glad you don't think that now though. I can see that, especially Instagram where everything is so picture perfect. Unless you watch my stories or sometimes read my derpy captions, where when everything's like all pristine, it could come across as that. But really, I like to think that I'm pretty chill. Summer Nugenbauer, animals actually come when you sing and help you do housework. You know what? I'm just gonna let this rumor like live on and just say yes. Yes, they do. Aurora Celeste, you're super animated. Yes, and not intentionally. Even sometimes where I think I'm being like really chill. Sometimes you can tell I feel like I'm trying to be too chill, and then like the thing is we were joking about, I turn into Crush from Finding Nemo because he's like, dude, and he like has the eyes half closed. Because if I don't think about it, I just get so crazy animated that it looks. I think people sometimes then think it looks fake, but a lot of times it's really just my face. Camino Sabio, you have auditioned for Disney parks. That is actually false. I have not. I have a lot of friends who have, so I've gotten to hear firsthand a lot of the ins and outs of that. And people who auditioned many times and people are in there. So I know pretty much like what that experience is like from what they've told me, but I've never myself done it. Koopy 200, guys always hit on you. I don't think so. Story time again. I have a pink cart that I push things around on. And this is gonna sound like the weirdest thing. For whatever reason, when I'm pushing this cart, men come hit on me. And but it feels like almost never otherwise. Princess Keely, you hate winter. I don't necessarily hate winter, but I hate driving in the snow. So winter in California is excellent because I don't have to drive in it. It's pretty to visit the snow as long as you have someone else to drive you or you don't have to drive or freeze your butt up because I've had way too many old vlogs in Colorado. One where I actually got frostnip. Kleinithi, you enjoy sweet snacks more than you enjoy salty ones. That is correct. But I do also really like popcorn. I make really good popcorn. And that was part 2 of me responding to your assumptions about me. I hope you enjoyed. Tell me if you have any more assumptions about me in the comments. Tell me if you were right about some or if you were wrong or if anything surprised you. If you want more videos like this, make sure you subscribe and ring that little bell so they come right to you, and I'll see you next time. Myth busted! I said that really aggressively. Earl Grey T7 says, oh wait, that was one I just read. Just kidding. I don't know what to say about that. It was kind of weird. Not that her question is weird. I'm just weird.